5 wins, 9 races, one number that stopped the entire NASCAR garage in its tracks. The last time anyone did what Tyler Reddick is doing right now, Ronald Reagan was president, Top Gun was in theaters, and Dale Earnhardt was driving a black Chevrolet that struck fear into every driver on the grid. That was 1987, 39 years ago. And today, in 2026, Tyler Reddick is driving at that same historic pace. This is the Spotter. And today we are telling you the full story of the most dominant start to a NASCAR season in nearly 4 decades. We are going to go all the way back to the beginning, trace how Tyler Reddick became who he is today, explain exactly what he has done in 2026, and ask the question the entire sport is trying to answer right now. Can anyone stop him? Stay with me, because this story is extraordinary. Chapter 1, the kid who started at age 4, Tyler George Reddick, was born on January 11, 1996 in Corning, California. Corning is a small farming town in Northern California, best known for its olive industry. It is not a place you would look at on a map and think, yes, a future NASCAR star will come from right here. But from the very first moment Tyler Reddick sat inside a race car, it was clear that something special was developing. He was 4 years old. 4 years old, strapped into an outlaw cart, already competing, already learning the craft. Most children that age cannot ride a bicycle without training wheels. Tyler Reddick was learning to find the racing line on an oval track. From karts, he moved to mini sprints. From mini sprints to midgets. From midgets to dirt late models and sprint cars. He absorbed every form of motorsport he could find. He learned on dirt tracks across California and the Midwest. He raced in conditions that most NASCAR fans never see: slippery dirt, no runoffs, nothing between the car and the wall except the driver's own instincts. That dirt track education gave him something that cannot be taught in a simulator. It gave him the feel, the sensitivity in his hands, the ability to catch a sliding car before it is fully gone, to find grip where other drivers only see danger. By his early teens, people inside the racing world were already paying attention. In 2013, Brad Keselowski Racing, a prominent NASCAR Truck Series team, signed Reddick to race for them. He was 17 years old and about to step onto the NASCAR stage for the very first time. On February 20, 2015, at Daytona International Speedway, Tyler Reddick won his first career NASCAR Truck Series race, his first major National Series win. At Daytona, the most important track in the sport, the place where careers are defined. He was 19 years old. The trajectory was set, and it was pointed straight up. Chapter 2, the rise to the Cup Series from the Truck Series. Reddick moved into the NASCAR Xfinity Series, what most people call the second-tier series of NASCAR. And right away, he showed something that would define his entire career. He did not just win, he won championships. In 2018, racing for JR Motorsports, Reddick won the Xfinity Series championship, his first. In 2019, racing for Richard Childress Racing, he won it again, his second consecutive title. And in doing so, he became the first driver in the history of the sport to win back-to-back Xfinity championships with 2 different teams. That is not a small achievement. That is history. The Cup Series beckoned. RCR moved him up full-time in 2020, and over the next 2.5 seasons, he was solid, competitive, learning the Cup game, earning respect. Then in July of 2022 at Road America in Wisconsin, Tyler Reddick won his first career NASCAR Cup Series race. The emotion in his voice on the radio that afternoon told you everything you needed to know about what that moment meant to him. 9 days later, in a move that stunned the entire garage, it was announced that 23XI Racing, the team co-owned by NBA legend Michael Jordan and NASCAR driver Denny Hamlin, had signed Tyler Reddick to drive for them starting in 2023. They paid to get him out of his RCR contract early. That is how badly they wanted him. 23XI Racing had only been in existence since 2021. They had 1 car, 1 driver, and a dream to build something different in NASCAR, to bring diversity, ambition, and eventually a championship to a sport that desperately needed all 3. And Tyler Reddick was the piece they believed would take them to the next level. At 23XI Racing, Reddick found wins. Wins at COTA, wins at Kansas, wins at Talladega, wins at Michigan, wins at Homestead. The talent that everyone had always seen began translating into consistent Cup Series victories. 13 wins total before the 2026 season even began. But in 2025, everything stopped. And the reason why it stopped is the part of this story that makes the 2026 comeback so meaningful. Chapter 3, the year that almost broke everything. Tyler Reddick did not win a single Cup race in 2025. Not one. For a driver who had been winning consistently since he arrived at 23XI in 2023, it was jarring. The speed was still there sometimes. The results were not. But here is what most people do not know about 2025. While Reddick was struggling on the racetrack, something far more important was happening at home. His infant son, rookie name for an inside joke between Tyler and his wife, but a name that quickly became the most important word in their household, fell seriously ill. Rookie Reddick was 4 months old, and for a period in 2025, his parents did not know if he would be okay. Tyler Reddick was flying back and forth between racetracks and hospitals, between the competitive chaos of NASCAR weekends and the terrifying quiet of a hospital room where his baby son was fighting. He never made excuses publicly. He showed up every week, put the helmet on, and tried to drive fast. But anyone who has ever tried to perform at an elite level while their child is in danger knows that the mind simply cannot fully engage. Part of him was always somewhere else. Rookie Reddick is healthy today. He was in victory lane at Daytona this past February, held in his father's arms after one of the most emotional wins in the history of that race. But between the illness and the winless season, something happened inside Tyler Reddick that nobody could quite predict. He changed. Crew chief Billy Scott noticed it first. He said Reddick came into 2026 with a completely rejuvenated outlook. More present, more focused, more committed to the details. Kevin Harvick, the NASCAR champion turned television analyst, said something that perfectly captures what everyone in the garage started noticing before the Daytona 500 had even happened. He said the first signal came during Daytona 500 Media Day when he was preparing for a broadcast interview. A crew member told him that Reddick was already there, standing and waiting, fully prepared before anyone else had arrived. Harvick had never seen that kind of early preparation from Reddick before. He knew right then that this year was going to be different. Denny Hamlin, who races against Reddick every Sunday as a driver while also being his team owner, summed it up simply. He said Reddick was the only person in the room taking notes during the organization's preseason meeting, out of everyone present taking notes. That is who drove the No. 45 Toyota to the Daytona 500 starting grid on February 15, 2026. A new version of Tyler Reddick. Chapter 4-5 wins in 9 races, the Daytona 500. The biggest race in NASCAR. The crown jewel. The event every driver dreams about winning from the moment they first watch it on television as a child. Tyler Reddick had come close before and never found his way to victory lane at Daytona. But on February 15, 2026, in the final corner of the final lap, teammate Riley Herbst gave him a massive push from behind. Reddick dove past Chase Elliott, and he crossed the finish line first, his first Daytona 500 win, 23XE Racing's first Daytona 500 win, the first Toyota to win the Daytona 500 since his own team owner Denny Hamlin had done it years before. In victory lane, he held baby rookie in his arms. His wife was there. His older son Bo was there. Michael Jordan was there, grinning wider than anyone. Reddick said later that winning the Daytona 500 with everything his family had been through in 2025 felt like the universe writing itself. Like everything that had been taken from them in the previous year was being given back all at once. 1 week later at Echo Park Speedway near Atlanta, he won again, led the most laps, dominant from the front. Then came COTA, the circuit of the America's road course in Austin, Texas. Reddick had won there before in 2023, and he did it again in 2026. 3 wins in 3 races to start the season, making him the first driver in Cup Series history to win the opening 3 races of a season, a record that had never been set, ever. Then Darlington, the track too tough to tame. One of the hardest racetracks on the schedule, win number 4, his second at Darlington. Then Kansas Speedway on April 19th in overtime. A last lap pass of reigning series champion Kyle Larson, win number 5. And with that win, he became only the 4th driver in NASCAR Cup Series history to win 5 of the first 9 races of a season, joining Dale Earnhardt, Cale Yarborough, and Richard Petty, 3 of the greatest names this sport has ever produced. After the Kansas win, standing in victory lane, Reddick was asked about the Dale Earnhardt comparison. He said with genuine disbelief in his voice, "That's a guy on the Mount Rushmore of NASCAR drivers." 1987 was the last time that happened. He paused, shook his head, and said quietly, "Wild." Those 5 wins came on 5 completely different types of racetracks: a super speedway, a high-banked intermediate, a road course, a high-wear historic oval, a flat intermediate in overtime. You cannot prepare for all of those in the same way. You cannot find one setup that works everywhere. It requires a complete driver, a versatile team, and an organization that has figured out how to prepare for every challenge. Michael Jordan was at Kansas for the 5th win. He stood on pit road after the race and said 4 words that said everything. He said, "Let him just go." Chapter 5, what is actually happening at 23XI Racing? You cannot tell the Tyler Reddick story of 2026 without telling the 23XI Racing story. Because this is not just about one driver getting hot. This is about an organization that built itself into a championship contender faster than almost anyone believed was possible. 23XE Racing began racing in 2021 with a single car and a big idea. Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player who ever lived, and Denny Hamlin, one of NASCAR's most successful active drivers, decided to build something together. They wanted to prove that a team without decades of history could compete with Hendrick Motorsports, Joe Gibbs Racing, and Penske. Year by year, they grew. They added cars. They refined their processes. They fought through the NASCAR charter lawsuit that created massive uncertainty about the sport's future. Through all of it, they kept building. And in the offseason between 2025 and 2026, something clicked. The entire organization spent months examining what had gone wrong in 2025. They analyzed their communication, their setup processes, their execution on race days. They brought in new perspectives. They worked longer hours. And Tyler Reddick, still grieving a difficult year and grateful that his son was healthy, showed up to every single session with a yellow notepad and a new mentality. The results speak for themselves. 5 wins in 9 races. A points lead of over 100 points. Teammate Bubba Wallace strong in points. Riley Herbst competitive. The entire 23XI organization operating at a level the NASCAR world had not seen from a relatively young team before. Steve Lauletta, the team president, said after the Kansas win that the improvement this year has been night and day. He said the whole team has been poised, not rattled, knowing a fast car is under them and executing when it matters. Kevin Harvick said on his podcast that Reddick is going to break the Gen 7 wins record. The record for most wins in a single season in NASCAR current car era is 6. Harvick believes Reddick will surpass it. And with 27 races still remaining in the 2026 season, nobody is in a position to argue confidently against that prediction. Chapter 6, can anyone stop him? That is the question every team principal, every crew chief, and every competitor is asking in their own garage right now. And the honest answer is, not yet. Denny Hamlin is second in points and still winless on the season. He has been dominant in laps led but cannot convert. Kyle Larson, the reigning champion, has been fast but found himself on the wrong side of race strategy too many times. William Byron, Christopher Bell, Chase Elliott, all of them are talented, all of them have the equipment, and none of them have found a consistent answer for what Reddick is doing. Now it is important to be honest about one thing. Tyler Reddick is not leading every race. He is not the fastest car on every lap. He is 3rd in laps led and 5th in miles led for the season. Hamlin and Larson actually lead him in both of those categories. What Reddick is doing is winning when it matters, converting, finding a way to be in the right position at the right moment. That is a skill that the best champions in NASCAR history have always possessed. It is the difference between a fast driver and a champion. And if he continues to lead the points by over 100 entering the playoff stretch, the revamped 2026 chase format, which gives significant advantages to the regular season points leader, could make him nearly impossible to dislodge even if his win rate slows down. The contract extension he announced at Talladega weekend makes this even clearer. Tyler Reddick is not going anywhere. He is locked into 23XI racing for years to come. He has no distractions, no contract negotiations, no wondering about his future, just racing. I want to be here, he said. I love racing here at 23XI. We're going to be here for a while, which is really exciting. That is the full story of Tyler Reddick and the most dominant start to a NASCAR season in 39 years. He started racing at age 4 on dirt tracks in California. He won 2 consecutive Xfinity championships with 2 different teams, a record nobody had set before. He survived a winless season while his baby son fought a life-threatening illness. He came back to Daytona in February 2026 with something different in his eyes, and he has spent the first 9 races of this season proving that sometimes the hardest years create the most extraordinary comebacks. 5 wins, 9 races. 100-plus points ahead in the standings, a multi-year contract locked in, a team operating at a level it has never reached before. The rest of NASCAR is running out of time to find an answer. Tyler Reddick is not slowing down, and that should scare everybody. If you want to follow this story every week, subscribe to The Spotter right now. Drop a comment below. How many total wins does Tyler Reddick finish with in 2026? The Spotter. See you next time.